Hey, I'm excited about the next topic that we're going to cover today. As I sit here in the oversized chair I put in my office not long ago, listening to the boys play outside. It's about to rain. I've got my diffuser going, essential oils fill the air. And I've been sitting here staring at my screen for the last 15 minutes, asking myself the questions. Am I qualified? And my mind and my heart have been filled with doubt. And I realize that I'm in this place right now where I just need to hit record and begin to speak and share because it's so easy to wait. And then all of a sudden, one fear turns into a snowball. And so there's a reason that I'm starting out really grassroots, guys. I'm not doing a highly produced podcast because I just want this to come straight from my heart directly to you. So I'm going to just qualify it right here in the beginning that a lot of this is not going to come out perfectly, but it's going to be authentic and real. And I know for a fact, though, that even if I'm not a perfect messenger, the message itself is something that I believe is straight from the heart of God. Every time I post on social media or anytime I get up to speak in front of a group of people or share, I'm always asking God, what is it that they need to hear, Lord? What do they need right now? What's going to speak to their heart? And so I believe that this topic today is something that every woman needs to hear. And I believe that it's straight from the heart of God. So let's just get into it. Today, we're going to talk about stop asking for permission. And we'll go into a little history on that. But it truly is a topic that has stifled women for many years, causing, and I talked in the first episode, I see this downfall of depression, women who are the flow of creativity, the flow of ideas, the vision, the dreams that they had at one time have been so suppressed that they're now operating from a place of depression, discontent, unhappiness. And I believe that what I'm going to talk about today is going to set you free. And this doesn't affect everybody, but I know it affects enough women that it's affecting the world. And we have such a huge part to play in raising up the next generation, having a key role in society and creating change and manifesting life on the earth. As women, part of who we are, and I've created what I'm calling the 7 pillars of a woman that we'll get into later at some point. But one of them is the nurturer. And our very being is designed to create life. And whenever we are stifled in that, then the world is lacking light and life. And so let's just deep dive into this whole subject. Years ago, and I grew up in a family where my father was an entrepreneur. And there were times that my dad would rely on me for, wisdom. Even as a young girl, he would take me onto job sites and he'd be like, Jamie, what do you think we should do about this situation? And I would share with him and I would have to have, I would think critically about the circumstance or the situation. And he was teaching me how to build. I was taught at home. I was homeschooled. So a lot of my schooling was, hands on the job at work sites. If it wasn't math problems on giant sheets of scrap sheetrock, it was me framing homes or roofing and shingling or putting up walls or painting or whatever the case may be. So there were so many opportunities. My dad was always looking for teachable moments. And I can count on every single one of my fingers, countless times that my dad would be like, Jamie, what do you think we should do in this situation? And it taught me by example at a very young age that I was capable and that it didn't matter whether I was, that I was a girl, that I had a voice and it was important and needed and it could make a difference. And so there were times even that I remember when I started dating and I would tell my dad stories about this, these guys. And I remember specifically one moment him turning around and he interrupted me and he was like, Jamie, I did not teach you to be like that. You have a mind of your own. You have a voice. You need to speak up and you need to use it. And so for me, I never had this sort of inhibition about letting it out or having an idea and implementing, and never once thought like, well, because I'm a woman, I can't do that. As a matter of fact, there were other men on these job sites that would get upset with my dad because they'd be like, Jane, Ty, she shouldn't be carrying all that heavy stuff. And maybe I shouldn't have been. I mean, I did have some I was really working very hard, carrying sheetrock and all these heavy things. But it really created and developed the strength in me that I knew that anything I put my mind to, I could accomplish. And it didn't matter whether it was in business or working in a corporation or climbing a corporate ladder or raising a family, whatever it was, I knew that I could do it. So I want to speak to you today about your dreams, your vision, your goals and what you've been either running away from or hiding from, or what you've been telling yourself for years that I just need to do this later, or I need to wait till the kids are out of the house, or I can't do that because I'm doing too many other things, or I'm too busy. So we're going to break all of that down just a little bit into different quadrants. So the first thing is, what is an idea? What is creativity? What is a dream and a vision? And we can look through all of scripture. And I go to scripture a lot, not just to read a verse or a passage, but to read the biographies and the stories of great men and women who changed the world, because there were miracles that happened and there were things that were unexplainable. The supernatural was so activated in these people's lives. And a lot of times it was just because they were doing something and they believed God. God said, this is something that I've given you. And they said, okay. And they took it and they ran with it. And they believed with all their heart that God was going to bless the work of their hands and prosper them. And so what do we have today? We have dreams and ideas and visions that are suppressed. And those dreams and visions are blueprints that show you the way and the things that God has put inside of you to accomplish. They're not just fluffy imaginations. If you search deep in your heart and you look at, as David said, like, search me, oh God. If you search your heart, I know you'll find deep-rooted vision. Maybe it's still there, bright and alive and shining, or maybe it's been quenched and it's deep down and you've forgotten about it. But I'm here to tell you that those things are meant to come alive and be activated with action. And so here's the how part. And this is, I know the beginning step is, okay, yes, I have an idea. Second step is, yes, I can take this idea and make something of it. Of course, we are resourceful and we are mighty as women, and we are full of wisdom and strength and power. And there's no lack of gain. There's that scripture in Proverbs 31 where she says she can laugh at the days to come and she has no fear of the future. And she is a resourceful person who actually provides for her household. She turns a profit by buying and selling fields as she looks at her profit and says, this is good. She calls in ships from afar. So she's doing all this international trade. Tell me that her role was only to be at home raising children. I don't see that anywhere. So you need to know that God has this for you. God has a plan for you. And maybe it is maybe your plan and your dream and your vision is just to raise an amazing family. You should do that. But maybe you've said no to more because you thought that that's just not acceptable. Maybe that's not what God has for me. Maybe God looks down on women building businesses or women climbing the corporate ladder or doing something outside of the home. And we can see clearly the mighty women of scripture who were saving nations. They were raising nations. They were providing for their households, making a profit. And the heart of her husband trusts in her, and her children rise up and call her blessed. So I'm speaking life into that right now, that it's time to look at yourself, to look at your dreams and your visions and say, yes, it's time for those things to come alive. So let's talk a little bit more about the how. And once you decide to stop asking permission and to start doing and taking action, and not just taking action timidly, become fierce. We have one life. You have one shot at this. And I'm 38 years old now, and I think, gosh, I never want to look back on my life and think I could have done so much more. There's also scripture that talks about, how God has given people 10 talents and 5 talents and 2 talents. And I believe that every one of you are 10 talent women, and you can take those 10 talents and 10x them. And one of your talents might be motherhood. One of your talents could be being an amazing wife. But I guarantee you there's so many of you that have the talent to go out and build businesses or, run organizations and be corporate or whatever it is. So now I think we've set the foundation. Run, go, do the thing, get it done. And I'm actually going to stop there. And then we're going to do the next episode. I'm going to get more into the how. But take some time today to grab some paper, write the vision down, and make it plain. Even if you don't have a clear picture right now, but I want you to think big. Take that idea that you have and magnify it times 100 with no limits. Imagine, for me, I didn't just want to start a company. I wanted to hire thousands of people, and I wanted to dominate in our industry. And then I want to buy tens of thousands of acres in the mountains and build a city that operates as a community. And you know, my dreams keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, Lord, you did this for Abraham. God took Abraham to the mountain. He said, everywhere you look here, Abraham, I'm giving this land to you. Everywhere your foot treads. And I think to myself, if he's willing to give that to Abraham, then why can't he do that for me? Why not you? What is it that you want? What is the territory that you want to take? Is it a corporation? Is it your business? Is it your family? Whatever it is, God will add it unto you. When you begin to step out in faith and take action, there's a really great scripture that always allows me to operate in full peace because I don't strive for anything. I'm consistently in a place of, God, you said, seek first the kingdom and your righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. And so I'm in this place constantly where I'm like, everything I do is for purpose and impact. Everything I apply my hands to is to take care of the needs of people, is to serve and to go deep and to not judge, but accept people where they're at and help them grow and become whole again. And so I want to do that for you. And I know for a fact, and this is based on experience and talking to thousands of women, that there are so many women that are operating in that place of depression because they're so suppressed in their dreams. And step one, take some time and write the vision down and make it plain. And if you have to go into the Bible, whether you are a faith-based person or not, I would just challenge you to go and find some stories in scripture that inspire you and say to yourself, man, if these people can do it, and if God was willing to do it for them, then I know he'll do it for me. Look at Esther and Daniel and Abraham and even Mary. And you don't have to be this tiger of a person. One of my best friends is a mighty warrior. She's one of the strongest women I know, but she's tender. She's very soft in her approach, but she is like a lioness that she just attacks things from such a place of gentleness. And so you don't have to be this gentle tiger or this giant tiger. You could be a gentle lamb, and God will raise you and help you accomplish the things that are in your heart to accomplish. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Stay tuned with me next episode where we're going to talk more and go deep on the how to get started, taking action and executing on the vision. Thanks for listening to today's show. Hit subscribe or follow, and be sure to share this episode with a friend.